Drover's Report on Ag Day is brought to you by Neogen. Discover your possibilities and enhance your herd's potential.
The U.S. Meat Export Federation taking the message about America's beef on a USDA trade mission to Angola. USMEF Africa Representative Matt Copeland recently took part in that trade mission thanks to support from the Beef Checkoff program. Now, Angola is located on the South Atlantic coast of West Africa. Copeland says while Angola will have demand for variety meats, there is a growing market for higher-end cuts in Western-style retail and food service.
Luanda itself is one of the most expensive cities in the world, so there's certainly, from a dining point of view, in the evenings, opportunity to become the center of the plate for both U.S. beef and pork cuts. In the retail environment, we're not talking apples with apples, so there is some premium beef represented as premium from Brazil, but in effect, it would probably compete with our utility or maybe the lower select. And so for us, we need to make sure that the products that are being offered to some of the buyers here also are apples for apples. So I can see that there's been a complete mismatch in some of the pricing shown to buyers just because of the absolutely worlds apart quality standards, quality differentiation.
Copeland says having key USDA leaders visit sent a strong message to the developing market. Congress has now approved funding for electronic identification tags. The funding was approved under the Consolidated Appropriations Act. That legislation allots $15 million for the beef industry. Now, the National Cattlemen's Beef Association saying while USDA potentially finalizes a traceability rule, its priority is to ensure producers don't incur the cost of complying with the possible new rule. Meanwhile, RCAF USA has come out against it because EID tagging isn't yet required. USDA has proposed a rule regarding national animal disease traceability. That rule would require official ear tags for interstate movement of certain cattle and bison. The rule hasn't been finalized just yet. We have a new snapshot of what consumers think about meat. The North American Meat Institute has released its 19th annual Power of Meat. The survey shows 80% of Americans describe themselves as meat eaters, and the number of households that purchased meat last year held steady at 98%. Now, another key finding, the number of people seeking to decrease the amount of meat they eat has fallen by 20% since 2020. The data from Circana shows that Generation X, they account for the greatest proportion of sales at 32%, while boomers buy meat the most frequently at 53 times a year. But inflation is factoring into those purchases. 73% of Americans are making one or more changes to meat buys at the grocery store to save money. Now, buying meat from an old-fashioned country market isn't quite as easy these days. We'll meet a couple in Arkansas working to change that next in the country.